Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video recap. Since you're enjoying this series so far and it's getting views, I was like, what the heck? Let's keep going. Though for today, I've got you a special anime recap, and it's special because this anime is actually a culmination of short novels. These were made by Japanese writers and are still relevant to this day when it comes to the material and are practically masterpieces of literature and Japanese culture. So, before we start, be sure to hit the subscribe button and press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about our latest new content. Since I already told you that this anime is a group of separate stories, I will start off with the first one in the show, and try to recap it to my best efforts. This is the story of No Longer Human, the famous novel by Dazai Osomo. Those of you that watched Bungo Stray Dogs will find the name familiar, and you should, since that Dazai character is a homage to the author by the same name. Even the bar Lupin is the same. In these 4 episodes, Dazai's work No Longer Human, that some say is actually his life story, and the reason behind his suicide, is a tale of losing hope all the way from childhood, hiding how broken he is by acting as a clown, all the way to his adulthood and his women and drinking problems. Yoso, the main character of this novel, is confused about his role in life and even if it has any meaning. One day he meets a broken woman, and after they had slept with each other, they decided to have a double suicide, something that she succeeds in while he fails and survives. The following years of his life are a culmination of women, drugs, drinking, and accusations of being a woman murderer. He was driven bit by bit to the edge, and his true self was gaining on him no matter how hard he attempted to hide it. In his despair, he had given up trying to change how the society looks at him, blaming himself and condemns him. He meets his future wife, the woman that sold him cigarettes next to Lupin Bar. She tells him that he is a human and not a ghost, and urges him again. Due to a certain incident I won't discuss here, he overdoses on some drugs and dies shortly after ending his short, ghost-like life. This is a work of art, and to this day is one of the greatest Japanese novels. It truly gave an insight on Dazai and how troubled his mind was in that period. Compared to his other joyful and fun novels, this one is more realistic. It can happen to anyone, and it's happening daily with people trying to find purpose within their lives, and that is why it's a masterpiece. After the gloom and doom theme in this first story, this story was a breath of fresh air, with beautiful scenery, vibrant colors, and a funny atmosphere. However, don't be fooled by this. This tale has a much darker meaning, albeit the moral of the story isn't as complicated or philosophical as the other stories were. However, it is still an important one. It's a story of a mountain bandit falling head over heels for a manipulative, narcissistic woman that he can't seem to say no to, even to the point of him killing all his previous wives for the sake of her becoming his wife. The atmosphere was sometimes creepy and filled with thrill, while other times it was comedic and most of it made no sense. The songs didn't help either, especially when the wife is dancing and singing while playing with decapitated heads. Like, what the hell? What I was able to understand from this story, and in my opinion, the moral of it is that sometimes you have to put your foot in the ground and stick to your beliefs and ideas. It was a fun story, but compared to No Longer Human and its overall theme, it just didn't cut it for me. Kokoro is practically the story of a love triangle, which might seem as a cliche at first, but when you watch it and actually think about it, it is deeper than you think. And for an author to be able to convey that in just 40 minutes says a lot about his capabilities. In this story, we are introduced to love, friendship, jealousy, betrayal, and loss. These all tested by the characters. And by creating 2 episodes from different perspectives, we are all able to witness even more emotions from the cast and how they suffered through the whole ordeal, trying to keep their friendship intact while at the same time having fallen in love with the same girl. And the best part was how the atmosphere in the surrounding area, from trees to the skies, changed according to each character's perspective. This is yet another work by the great Dazai Osomo, and one of his earlier creations. You can easily see the 180-degree shift when comparing the story about hope and friendship with that of despair, confusion, and loss in No Longer Human. This is a straightforward story about an author writing a theatrical script of the ancient Greek story of Damon and Pythias. A tale of complete 100% trust and true camaraderie between these two friends. An unwavering sense of loyalty and race against time to save his friend that agreed to be a scapegoat of sorts for his friend to attend his sister's wedding. The writer of the story reflects back upon his own friendship and the betrayal he suffered at the hands of his friend after lying to him and not meeting him at the train station. And even after 15 years and after all that, when he heard the news of his friend dying, he forgot his hatred. His grudge left his sorrow and rage behind and rushed to him like a crazed man, hoping in his heart that it isn't too late and that he will make it on time, just like Melos had to do in order to save his friend and prove to the distrustful king that he was wrong after all. This episode was just one part short, and it had a lot to say and teach. Alas, time was short and the message was cut midway. What started off as an assassin and a villain going on a killing spree ended up becoming a total mindfuck after Kandata died, and presumably went to hell to suffer for eternity for his actions. The moral of the story was that all actions have consequences that will come knocking on your door someday. The visual art style in this episode took things to a whole new level with its beauty, creepiness, and sheer creative atmosphere made. The faces of all those he killed and wronged hunting him, the countless hands protruding from the ground as if asking for salvation. It was truly hellish and expressive, and I enjoyed it so much. Yet another story sharing the same universe of the previous one. This story is written by yet another author that sadly committed suicide like Dazai did. And some say that this story was foreshadowing how he truly felt and experienced in that time after his novels went into decline due to change in preferences and trends in society. In this story, the arrogant emperor slaughters and burns his people. Just for his amusement, he asks the greatest artist in the kingdom to draw him his city and everything about it on his mausoleum walls. This way, even in death, he will rule the city. The artist told his daughter that this will be his final masterpiece given to the world, and he put in his sweat, blood, and effort to making this piece of art. It was not what the emperor expected though, as it was a drawing of all the suffering, pain, anguish, and misery he has caused his people in his arrogance and greed. The artist is considered a traitor and his daughter is burned to death, the same flame that ironically took down the emperor. The morale here, as conveyed in the previous story, is that every sinner will have his day, and your actions will be paid for as well, as showing us just how powerful artistic expressions are, and how even a small painting can insinuate revolution. The artist gave up everything for the sake of his final masterpiece to show his dedication and love to his artwork, as well as his refusal and the position he takes against the oppression and the oppressors. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I had fun making it for you. These stories are evergreen because they are masterpieces, each in its own right with a message conveyed. It is hard to find such a meaningful anime like this one these days, which makes this show even more precious and worth watching. I would appreciate it if you guys would like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, don't forget to press on that bell icon to keep yourself notified of all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.